Welcome to Fort William. We're starting our tour here at the town pier, looking out over the tidal waters of Loch Linnhe. This queue here is for the local boat tours, like Crannog Cruises or Cruise Loch Linnhe. They take you out to Seal Island to spot common and grey seals, and it's arguably the best way to see the massive scale of Ben Nevis from the water. The building on our left with the iconic red roof is Crannog. It's one of the town's most famous seafood restaurants, but it actually started life as a humble fisherman's bait shed, and it served as a lookout point during World War II. As we look out over Loch Linnhe, we are standing on the edge of a massive geological scar known as the Great Glen Fault. Hundreds of millions of years ago, the majority of Scotland was physically joined to what is now North America and Greenland. The rocks here are actually geological twins of the Appalachian Mountains in the US and the mountains of Newfoundland in Canada. When these ancient continents collided near the modern-day border with England, the land here at Fort William snapped and shifted over 60 miles. This created the perfectly straight Great Glen and the deep waters of Loch Linnhe that we see here today. Let's jump forward a bit as we make our way into Fort William town. As we reach the southern end of the high street, we've arrived at Gordon Square. This bronze figure marks a very special spot, the official finishing point of the West Highland Way. The West Highland Way was Scotland's first officially designated long-distance trail, opening in 1980. It stretches 96 miles, or 154 kilometres, all the way from Skye, just outside Glasgow, through some of the most rugged terrain in the country. The statue, officially titled The Man with Sore Feet by sculptor David Annand, captures the exact mixture of exhaustion and relief felt by those who have spent a week trekking through the Highlands. Behind the statue is the Black Isle Bar. It's famous for its wood-fired pizzas and a huge selection of organic craft ales. If you're lucky enough to catch a break in the clouds, they even have outdoor seating, which is one of the best places in town to enjoy a drink with a bit of fresh Highland air. Since this is the finish line, the surrounding pubs are usually full of hikers in high spirits. Stepping onto the high street, you really feel why Fort William is the outdoor capital of the UK. It serves as a vital central hub for adventurers, especially those here to tackle Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the UK. This is why the street is lined with specialist gear shops like Cotswold Outdoor, providing essential supplies for the thousands of hikers who pass through every year. And here we have the Hot Roast Company. This tiny cafe is a strong favourite for visitors and locals alike, famous for its legendary roast meat sandwiches. Many West Highland Way hikers consider it a rite of passage to grab a pork and apple roll here after finishing the long trek. It's not just humans tackling the trails. You'll see plenty of adventurous dogs here. Many of them have actually made it to the summit of Ben Nevis or completed the entire 96 miles of the West Highland Way with their owners. Fort William is an excellent place for cycling, regardless of your experience level. For the average person looking for a scenic ride, you can follow the Caledonian Way, Route 78, along the shores of Loch Linnhe, or take a gentle trip along the Caledonian Canal to see Neptune's staircase. Even up at the Nevis Range, there are family-friendly tracks like the Blue Dune, the longest gondola-accessed blue trail in the UK. Here on our left is the Ben Nevis Bar and Restaurant. This historic spot was actually built in 1806 as an inn for cattle drovers who were moving their livestock through the Highlands. It's recently been named the Highland Pub of the Year 2025. Their menu includes a lovely variety of meals, ranging from traditional Scottish fare, classic pub comforts, hearty main courses, and customizable burgers. Across the street is Macari's, a family-run, old-school chip shop that has been a fixture of the high street for generations. While they serve excellent fresh Scottish haddock, the real insider tip here is their ice cream. Locals swear by their Isle of Skye sea salt caramel. But for those who crave a bit more adrenaline, this town is the spiritual home of British downhill racing. For over 20 years, it was a permanent fixture on the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup circuit. Even when the World Cup takes a break, the energy remains high, with massive events like the IXS European Downhill Cup, which brings hundreds of the world's best riders to these slopes every May. This is Aroma Cafe. It's both a coffee place and Chinese restaurant in one. Next, we're pausing at the window of the Whisky Shop. This is a fantastic place to explore Scotland's national drink, with a collection that ranges from well-known Highland malts to rare, hidden gem bottlings from closed distilleries. The word whisky itself has deep roots in the Highlands. It is derived from the Gaelic phrase Uisge-Beatha, which translates literally to the water of life. Centuries ago, this spirit was often distilled at home and used as both a medicine and a social staple. Today, the incredible variety of flavours, ranging from smoky peats to sweet, honeyed Highland malts, makes it a central part of Scotland's cultural identity. Another fantastic local landmark is Three Wise Monkeys. This indoor climbing centre is housed in a beautifully converted church, allowing you to boulder and climb right underneath the original stone arches and high ceilings. Beyond the climbing walls, it's a popular community hub with a great cafe and yoga studio, making it the ideal spot to spend a few hours if the Highland weather decides not to cooperate with your outdoor plans. The Highland Bookshop, a multi-award-winning independent shop that has become a true cultural heart for the town. While the town is famous for its physical challenges, this is where you come for the intellectual ones. It boasts an incredible collection of Scottish history and Gaelic literature. It's incredibly cosy, with wood-lined walls and a staircase leading to a quiet upper floor where you can find rare maps and local guides. Just a short walk from the high street is the starting point for one of the world's most iconic railway journeys. The Jacobite steam train offers a breathtaking 2-hour trip from Fort William to Mallaig, cutting through some of the most dramatic scenery in the Highlands. Most famously, this vintage train served as the Hogwarts Express in the Harry Potter films. As it crosses the 21-arched Glenfinnan Viaduct, you get that legendary view of the monument and Loch Linnhe below. An absolute bucket list experience, whether you're a film fan or just here for the incredible landscapes. As we continue, you'll likely smell the Highland Soap Company before you even see it. This family-run business is a local success story, crafting organic, handmade soaps and skincare inspired by the surrounding wilderness. They use traditional methods and wild harvested ingredients like bog myrtle and heather, making it the perfect place to pick up a literal scent of the Highlands to take home with you. There are plenty of spots to pick up a classic souvenir. You'll find everything from plush Nessies and Highland cows or Hieland coos to postcards, perfect for capturing a bit of that Scottish charm before you head off on your next adventure. Just ahead is the Volunteer Arms, which is widely considered one of the oldest and most traditional pubs in Fort William. Inside, it's a classic Scottish howff, a cosy, unpretentious spot with wood-lined walls and a very warm welcome. It's a popular final stop for hikers who have just finished the West Highland Way, offering a bit of authentic local character and a great selection of real ales. We're now at Cameron Square. Next up, we have the West Highland Museum in Cameron Square, a hidden gem with a world-class Jacobite collection. Inside, you can see the famous secret portrait of Bonnie Prince Charlie, which only reveals itself when reflected in a silver cylinder. There are also fascinating exhibits on the World War II commandos who trained in these very hills. It's completely free to enter and is the perfect spot to soak up some authentic Highland history. Sitting right outside the museum is the life-size bronze Ford sculpture, commemorating one of the most daring publicity stunts in motoring history. In 1911, Henry Alexander Jr. successfully drove a Model T Ford all the way to the summit of Ben Nevis to prove it was Highland tough. The journey took 5 grueling days over rocky slopes and peat bogs, and this statue stands exactly where the crowds gathered to celebrate his return. It's a great interactive spot, as you can actually climb into the seats for a photo with Henry himself. The town itself takes its name from the original Fort William, named after William of Orange, who ruled as King William II of Scotland in the late 17th century. While he is often celebrated elsewhere for the Glorious Revolution, here in the Highlands he remains a deeply controversial figure. He is primarily remembered for his role in the massacre of Glen in 1692, where he signed the orders that led to the murder of members of Clan MacDonald under trust. Even today, his name carries a complicated legacy in Scotland, often tied to long-standing religious and political divides that still surface in modern culture. Up next is the Crofter Bar and Restaurant, a vibrant community hub that's been a fixture on the high street since the early 1900s. Inside, you'll find classic Scottish comfort food, like their famous haggis bites or venison burgers, paired with a great selection of local ales. Because they don't take reservations, it always has a spontaneous, bustling energy, especially on weekends when you might catch some live music or a big game on the screens. It's no secret that Fort William is one of the wettest places in the UK, often seeing over 200 days of rainfall a year. While it might mean reaching for the umbrella, this constant mist is exactly what makes the Highlands so incredibly lush and vibrant. This rain feeds the mountain springs that create our world-class whisky and keeps the waterfalls around Ben Nevis roaring. In a way, you haven't truly experienced the outdoor capital until you've seen it under a dramatic, moody sky. It's all part of the authentic Highland atmosphere. This is St Andrew's Episcopal Church, a stunning example of Gothic Revival architecture that adds a sense of grace to the high street. It was designed by the prolific Highland architect Alexander Ross, the same man responsible for the iconic St Andrew's Cathedral in Inverness. Completed in 1881, the church is a quiet sanctuary known for its beautiful stone carvings and vibrant stained glass. Historically, the Scottish Episcopal Church had deep, long-standing ties to the Jacobite movement, so even this peaceful building carries a whisper of the town's rebellious past. It's a lovely spot to pause and appreciate the craftsmanship that went into building Fort William during the Victorian era. As we walk, you'll notice that almost every sign in town is bilingual. Gaelic is a cornerstone of Highland identity, and here in Fort William, you'll often hear the town referred to by its Gaelic name, An Geraston, which translates simply to the garrison. While the language faced a long period of decline, there is a massive revival happening today. From Gaelic medium schools to local music festivals called Fairshon, the language is the soul of the scenery we're looking at. Even the names of the mountains, like Ben Nevis or Ben Nevis, hold ancient meanings that tell us stories about the land's history and legends. This striking figure in the centre of the square is the statue of Donald Cameron of Loch Linnhe, the 24th Chief of Clan Cameron. Unveiled in 1909, it commemorates a man who was a titan of Highland public life, serving as a Member of Parliament for nearly 40 years and as the Lord Lieutenant of the county. Dressed in full traditional Highland attire, complete with his kilt, plaid and Glengarry bonnet, set against the grand backdrop of the Duncansburg Macintosh Parish Church. This is the Fort William War Memorial, a poignant tribute to the men from the local area who gave their lives during the World Wars. The statue depicts a soldier of the Cameron Highlanders in his Great War uniform, notably wearing the traditional kilt and a Brodie helmet. He is shown with his head bowed and his rifle reversed, a traditional military gesture of mourning and respect. It's a very quiet, powerful spot that reminds you of the deep history of service and sacrifice within these Highland glens. If you're inspired to come and explore these historic streets for yourself, I wish you an absolutely incredible trip. But if there is one piece of advice I can give you, it's this. Don't forget to bring a sturdy rain jacket. As we've seen today, the weather here has a mind of its own, but as long as you're prepared, the rain only adds to the magic of the experience. Please subscribe to the channel if you wish to see more travel guides like this.